Hi everyone, I'm Dan Albers and welcome to Redskin Review. Today's show is being taped on Wednesday, September the 16th, and in this show we're going to talk about Anderson's loss to the Harrison Wildcats 28-7. Also talk about homecoming week, they're playing Walnut Hills Eagles, the Roselet Financial Offense, Defense, Special Teams Players of the Week, and as always joining me is Coach Jeff Giesing. And Jeff, thanks for joining us. Yep. Started off the game quickly with Harrison. The offense came up huge with a big 65-yard touchdown run with Drew Barr to put you up 7-0 early in the first quarter.
That was a great start. I mean, Drew's quick, and we finally got him out on the perimeter, and he can run, and just a great start for us to get up on them early. Unfortunately, they came right back and scored and stuff, and we tried that same play later on, and we just couldn't get the end hook like we did the first play with that. But that's a great way to start a game, and hopefully we can continue to do something, come out of the gate a little bit, because we've been slow starters sometimes, and it kind of hurts when you can't get any momentum going early in the game. And it was good. The kids were excited, and it was a tough night because it was starting to rain, and the field was getting really heavy and muddy, and it was I thought, well, if we can get another score or two, and if the weather does get really bad, nobody's going to be able to move the ball. And unfortunately, the second half it quit raining.
Right.
And they played really well on offense the second half.
The problem with scoring that early, I guess, is that Harrison answered pretty quickly. I believe scored 2 touchdowns, and it really that kind of seemed like it kind of took the momentum away from you guys after you had that first score.
It did. We still were moving the ball a little bit, but they came back and they had the 14-7 lead, and then we're moving the ball, and we've got a wide open touchdown, and we just dropped the ball, and that's just a fluky thing. I think I saw that one other time in like 1992 at a JV game.
Yeah.
I think it was Greg Kerval was running way out in front of everybody, and all of a sudden the ball just popped out, and it's just a weird fluky thing, and that's just kind of the way our luck's been. If something bad could happen, we figure out a way to make it happen that way, and it's we've got to get past that, and we've got to be able to finish plays and make things happen in a positive way for us. And right now we're not doing that.
Well, I was going to mention that next is that that potentially would have tied the game up at 14. Yeah. And Greg and I were trying to figure out if he was trying to switch arms or if it just fell out of his hand. It looked like it just fell out.
I think it just fell out. He was 5, 6, 7 yards ahead of everybody else. I don't know why he would have switched arms. And it's unfortunate. It just happens 1 out of 100 times.
Right.
Something like that would happen, and of course it happened on that. And it was right before the half. The game would have been tied 14-all, and it would have been a different ball game. And that was really a huge play as far as momentum goes to not get those points.
Right. Second half, Harrison comes out on the kickoff and took 9 minutes off the clock, and they did a really good job of mixing a ball up. And then Anderson, I think, scores from 2 yards out. Yeah,
they ran power a lot, but they mixed in their play action passing game and converted a couple big third downs, and just kept eating the clock, and that, of course, that wore our defense down.
Absolutely.
And that put us down 21-7, which made it even tougher to climb out of the hole. And so credit to them for coming up with a great drive, and we've got to find a way to get off the field. Defensively, you can't go out there and play for 9 minutes and be any good.
Right.
And we just totally didn't have anything left in the tank after that.
Right.
That drive just took it all out of us.
Yeah, as you said, you were down 21-7. 2 minutes ago in the quarter, you did though put together a pretty good drive, if I believe. Took you guys all the way down to the 1, and Patrick Johnson got stopped on a 1. You guys couldn't score.
Right. They came up with a big defensive stop. We thought we had a good play call, and their defensive line won that battle. And Patrick got stopped on 4th and 1, so that's another touchdown we left out there. And we've just got to find a way to convert in those situations. And that was frustrating. I know Coach Standard and the other offensive coaches are disappointed in not getting it in there on that. And and after that, then Harrison went down and got another touchdown late for the final margin. But so the game was closer than the score indicates. But again, it doesn't matter. A loss is a loss, and we have to just learn from our mistakes and get better at it, get better at what we need to do to win, and fumbling and getting stuffed on the 1 yard line. And then we had 3 turnovers as well, and they didn't have any turnovers. I mean, so if we lose the turnover battle by 3, and we still had a chance to be in the game if we would have scored without fumbling and scored from the 1. So, we're really close, and I tried to tell the kids that. You're really close to winning some games, but you've got to be able to get over the hump and finish things and believe in yourself that you're going to win.
Just saying that it's really honestly a game of inches. You think about that with Dylan not scoring, getting down at the 1, right there, that, like you said, it's a 21-21 ball game, and who knows what happens after that.
Sure. When it's like that, then it can go either way. We might still have lost the ball game, but when you're tied up in the fourth quarter, it's exciting.
It's a lot different. Yep.
Kids play hard, and everybody's into it. And when you're down 2 scores in the fourth quarter, it's tough. And we just couldn't get any momentum going after that. After we got beat on the 1 yard line and couldn't score, we just couldn't get much going.
Yeah, I've been on the end where some of these kids are right now, where something starts to happen, and you're thinking, oh, here we go again. You think that they've got some of that still when something like that happens?
Yeah,
they just.
I think some of them do. I mean, we talked about confidence this week, and playing with confidence, it's contagious, but so is lack of confidence.
Right.
Vince Lombardi said that, and they've got to understand that. That you just got to keep playing, and believe that you're going to make plays, and something good's going to happen. You're going to get the bounce is going to go your way, or somebody's going to make a great play and get you back in the ball game, and that when you do that, then your effort stays at a high level, and otherwise it just gets they get disheartened, and they're good kids and they're trying, but it's just tough right now because we played some really good teams.
Right.
If we played some other teams' schedules, we'd be 2-1 or 3-0 possibly. Right. But we had 2 games, McNick and Harrison. We both were in a position where if we would have played better, we could have won the ball games, and we didn't do it. And that's the frustrating thing about it, that we have to, when we're in those positions and the game's still winnable, that we've got to make some plays.
You said that Harrison capped it off at the end of the night with a 50-yard touchdown pass Gerald Smith caught from Mitchell Hogue. I was really impressed with Mitchell Hogue moving from that wide receiver to the quarterback. You could really see his athletic ability.
Yeah, he played his best game against us.
Absolutely.
What we'd seen on film, he was a good athlete running the football, but he hadn't thrown as well. And he was throwing everything. He was on the money Friday, and he just had a really good game. The rain quit kind of the second half, so that helped a little bit, but still, credit goes to him.
Absolutely.
He played real well.
Yeah, he did. I thought except for that long drive in the third quarter, I thought your defense played fairly well. They were just on the field too long.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the story of the season so far. We've got to get some things going offensively. Our third down conversion rate's not very good. We have to make some plays. And, defensively, we're trying to sub kids in and play some different kids. But we got some young kids playing as well out there. And it's hard when you're playing varsity football on a Friday night for the first time to play a lot of plays, and we're asking that of some young kids maybe that physically aren't quite ready to do that.
Right.
We need some older guys to still step up.
Dylan Smith had a pretty good night running. He had 14 carries, 117 yards, and that big one, unfortunately, the fumble's going to stick up, but he really did a nice job running the football.
He did. Yeah, Dylan's a good runner. I mean, we had some good schemes. We got him out in space where we wanted to get him. I thought Patrick ran well, hard as well, and we were able to gain some yardage on the ground. Our passing game, though, is just not helping us out. Right. Which we thought would be a strength of our team this year, and we're struggling right now throwing the football.
Yeah, I was going to say, on the flip side of that, throwing the football, you only had 24 yards and 3 interceptions. Yeah. That's not going to win a lot of ball games.
That's going to lose a lot of ball games. And the weather, like I said, had something to do with that in the first half, but the second half, we've got to be able to complete some passes. And Harrison's DBs were playing up on us, and when it's one-on-one coverage, you got to be able to beat your guy. And we need our receivers to play better. Dylan's got to play better, and and it's a combination of things. But hopefully it comes around this week. You think?
I mean, you got a lot of guys going both ways. You think a lot of that has to do with some? I think you guys got some guys playing DB, some guys playing wide receiver. Yeah. But I would, you're young enough. I think they should be okay.
It's not a physically demanding to play DB and
wide receiver. Yeah.
You're not getting beat on. It's not like playing defensive end and tight end like Blake White does.
I was just getting ready to ask you after that here.
And so some of those guys have to be able to keep their level of performance at a high, even though they're getting a little bit tired. And again, we're trying to sub them out, but sometimes it's the mental part of it. When they get tired, it's worse than the physical part of it. They make a mental error in coverage, or they drop a pass, or they run the wrong route, or mess up the play, all those kind of things. The mental part of it is so important, and especially I think with this team, and I've been telling them that all year. I was telling them that in the offseason. I said, physically you're fine, it's just the mental part of it. Believing in yourself and knowing what you're supposed to do, and not letting your performance drop when things get tough, and handling that adversity, because that's what football is. It's a game that is just filled with adversity, and you have to respond to that, and we're having a difficult time doing that right now.
We're just talking about Blake White, obviously playing very well on defense, but all league conference tight end. Is it hard to get him to get on the offensive side of the ball? I've seen you subbing him in, but not as playing more offense than defense.
Yeah, we need him. We have to have him on defense.
Right.
He's our best defensive player, and we have to have him in there. And we'd like to play him more on offense and use him more in tight end sets, and we're going to have to maybe just try to figure out a way to do that with him, and because he is very effective, and he's a big, strong kid, and he's one of our captains and does a great job. So hopefully, this week we can get him a little more involved on the offensive side of it. But I told him, Blake, you're going to have to play at least the whole game on defense, and you can play half the game on offense. And he just plays so hard. Yeah, he does. And he's just wore out. Yeah. So.
Connor Wilden had a nice game on special teams. He had 74 yards on 2 kickoffs, and one of them was for 40 yards. So he had a nice game.
Yeah, I thought we made some advances in special teams. Our coverage was a little better. Our returns were better. So I think that was good. We worked on that really hard last week. Coach Mathis was really working on that with them, and we got better at that. So we didn't have the crucial special teams mess up that we've had.
Long returns.
And with giving up field position. Right. And hopefully we can continue.
Yeah, as we said, it rained most of the night. Did that deter your offense or defensive game plan at all a little bit or not?
Oh, I think offensively, it makes it harder to throw the football when it gets really wet like that. And it was raining pretty hard in the first half at times. Second half is just kind of a light sprinkle, and it wasn't as big a deal. But by then the balls are wet, and the kids are all wet, and it just makes it tougher. But we've got to be able to still run the ball when it's wet, and not shut our running game down. And we've got to be able to throw the ball a little bit, to keep people honest.
Third down efficiency has been, I think, for the first couple weeks and this week was another issue. You were 2 for 7 on third downs. I think Harrison was 9 for 16, and that there is a big part of the game. Plus the turnovers.
We had them in third down 16 times.
Right.
Now some of that they had a long drive and stuff like that, but we had some chances, and we've got to get off the field on third down. And we weren't in third down that much. We were kind of scoring big or getting some big chunks of yardage, or we were getting nothing. That inconsistency is very frustrating to the coaches right now. Offensively, we look really good at times, and then we look really, really inefficient at times, and that's been frustrating, and hopefully we can change that.
Obviously, turnovers are always huge. We've talked about this for the last couple of years, that you guys really can't afford to turn the ball over too much, and you got to win that battle.
Right, we do, and we talk about it every week, and we work on it, and trying to get the football, and we're not getting many turnovers, and we're turning the ball over too much, and so hopefully that changes, because that's a huge part of football, especially in high school football, is that turnover margin, and we're definitely on the negative side of that.
Absolutely. So we're going to get into our Roseland Financial offense, defense, special teams players of the game. And again, thanks to Nate Cosman and for helping out for the golf outing, everything he does for the program. We appreciate it. Who are the special teams?
Special teams is Connor Wilden.
Okay.
Great returns. Connor was battling a little bit of a groin injury last week, so he came back and had a really nice game returning the football, which we've been kind of looking for that, somebody that can get us positive yardage. Even they don't necessarily have to go score a touchdown, but if we can make a couple people miss, gain 20, 30 yards on returns, get the ball up around the 35, 40, you've got a chance offensively, and Connor did a good job with that. Offensively, it was Nate Wilkins. As a sophomore, he has come in and played center on a rainy night, and I think he only had one bad snap all night. Nate's just really a smart kid. He's going to be a really good lineman for us, and kind of stepped into that center role after Victor Horning got hurt, and he's probably not going to give it up now. He's really become a nice player for us, and so we're going to have him for 2 more years, and he's going to be a nice offensive lineman for us. He plays a little bit of defense as well. And then defensively was another sophomore, Austin Watt. Started at free safety, and I think he was our leading tackler. He had 9 tackles.
Wow.
And he's just a big, tall, rangy kid. He's not real heavy yet. He's pretty thin, but he can cover some ground, and he's long, and he's almost 6'5", or he is 6'5". So when the ball's in the air, like I said, he's just goes up and gets it, and so it's a kind of a nice safety net back there, and he's starting to come up better on the run, and become a better tackler. Again, that comes with confidence, and as he gets in the weight room in another year and gets stronger and bigger, he's got a bright future ahead of him as a safety for us.
Well, that's good. So those are our offense, defense, special teams players of the game. Talk a little bit about the JV and the freshman. I believe both of them won, I think, Saturday.
JV won 25-16, and we're losing at the half. I think it was 8-0. Came back and played really well second half, and it was good for them to get that win. And then the freshmen won 14-7, and they were outplaying them the whole game. They just couldn't get that extra touchdown they needed, and it was a little hairy at the end. Harrison had the ball and was driving a little bit, but that was good. So freshmen are undefeated, and the JVs are 1-1. So the younger guys are doing well. And as far as I know, I think Nagel's 0-2 right now, and
That's the 8th grade.
The 8th grade, Nagel Blue. They play tomorrow. And I'm not sure about the 7th grade record right now.
Okay, let's get a little bit into this week's game. You got the Walnut Hills Eagles, who beat Purcell Marion last week. They're 2-1. They played pretty well. They beat, I believe they lost to Princeton is who they lost to. We were talking before we came on air is that they really like to run the football. They're not going to throw it that much.
No, they changed their scheme. They were a spread team, and Coach Consis has gone to the triple, kind of like Winton Woods runs. Very fullback oriented, giving him the ball, but then they'll run the option with it and bring a guy in motion and to be the pitch man, and they'll use some unbalanced formations as well. Not real complicated, not with a lot of formations or anything like that. They're just trying to get good at what they do, and the fullback is a really good player. Jeremiah Harrison, he's probably a 3-year starter for him. He's a linebacker as well. Big, strong kid, and we've got to be able to tackle him or he's going to get the ball 30, 35 times.
That's a big change for them compared to what they had to run the spread. Didn't they run the spread, and they threw the ball pretty much, and that's a big change for them.
Right. They were throwing the ball 50% of the time, and now it's, they're throwing now. When they throw now, they're trying to get touchdowns.
Right.
It's off of play action. They're throwing deep, trying to suck you up on the run and get behind you, and that's been a concern of ours this year.
Right.
Back there in the defensive backfield. So we've been trying to emphasize that all week, reading our keys and knowing the down and distance and the situations and making sure we don't get beat deep on pass coverage.
The last few years, when you started off 0-3, this was the game that always kind of put you over the top, and it happened to be Walnut Hills a couple years. Not saying that's a guarantee, but
no, it's not at
I guess
all.
if that's a bright spot, is that
I think it's of the 3 teams we've played so far. Harrison had a lot returning, and they were a playoff team last year. And
Bishop's really good.
Team. Bishop Fenwick's going to be. They could be number 1 in the state, Division 4, if they beat Alter this week. So some really, really strong teams. Walnut struggled last year, and we scored some points down there at their place, and hopefully we can do that again. But again, watching them on film, I think it's a toss-up. Game can go either way, and again, like we said earlier, turnovers, special teams, all those things will be huge factors. We have to be able to get some easy scores and control the clock a little bit and run the football and wear them down a little bit so our defense isn't out there all night long. And then we've got to get our passing game going a little bit. We've got to be able to throw the ball effectively to get people back off of us a little bit.
Homecoming, this is a homecoming game for you. Does it seem that the kids play a little bit extra, harder now for homecoming, or is it pretty much the same no matter what?
I mean, it's exciting. There's more people here. I told them there'd be people here that haven't been here for years. There'll be people that this is the only game they come to every year, and then the regulars that are here every week. And it's exciting. We'll wear our traditional black and orange, and we wear the orange pants for homecoming, and usually senior night or another game towards the end of the year. And it's just they're excited. There's a lot going on. They got powder puff, and there might be a pep rally Friday, and I mean just everything that goes on with homecoming week, different things, theme days that they have throughout the week. So, yeah, they'll be excited.
We talked a little bit already about their offense, and Harrison's going to be a guy that we're really going to have to watch. What do they do on defense? So the same thing as they did last year?
They're an even front defense, similar to last year. Play a lot of quarters coverage, and kind of a just try to be sound fundamentally. And I don't really know how many guys are going both ways right now. It's hard to tell.
Is Harrison go both ways?
Harrison does. He plays. He's one of their linebackers. And he was last year as well. He's a good player. So. So they'll play another kid at fullback sometimes as well, and kind of like we're trying to do with Blake White. He's probably more important to him on defense than his offense. So they're solid on defense, and they always have a decent special team. So like I said, I think the game's a toss-up.
Obviously, we always talk about this every week. Is turnovers are going to be a huge part of the game. Controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides of football obviously is going to be a big part of the game.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be a huge part of the game. Trying to control the line of scrimmage. We've struggled. We've been off and on with that all year. We've run the ball really well at times, and then other times in the same game we just get shut down. McNick game we ran the ball well, we ran it well, and then suddenly we couldn't run anymore. Harrison, we're moving the ball, and then they stuff us, and so that consistency is, like I said earlier, that's the frustrating thing of trying to get our guys to be consistent. It's something. And we're kind of all over the board right now offensively.
We're going to talk about right now is we're going to try to do each week a featured Redskin alumni, and our feature this week is going to be on number 21, Jake Andreatis. Unbelievable football player, and that long pedigree of the Andreatis family, taken after his dad Harry. But Jake was a very, very special player here at Anderson, here in the Hall of Fame. But he's also going to be inducted here shortly, I think in the next month or two, into the Youngstown State Athletic Hall of Fame. And talk a little bit about Jake. He was a good ball player.
He was a great player. I remember when I first got here, Jake was just a little guy. Let's see, he was probably about a 6th grader.
Ball
maybe.
Boy, wasn't he?
He was ball boy, and he was doing athletic things then, so, sliding down poles from 20 feet in the air and doing flips and whatever else. But he was just a phenomenal athlete. And I saw his older brother, Louis.
Right.
Will was a junior my first year, and Louis was a freshman. So he saw Will and Louis go through it, and then he got his turn, and he was a sophomore on the 92 team. And he was the backup to Jason Druso. And then Jake was a 2-year starter for us and had a great career. Like you said, he's in our Hall of Fame, went on to Youngstown, played for Coach Trussell.
Yep.
And I think he had a really good relationship with Coach Trussell. And, just got a lot out of his education there at Youngstown, and played on national championship, and, did a lot of great things there. So he's certainly one of the great players to ever come through Anderson, for sure.
And not only that, but successful out in the business world. He's got a couple kids, and just a great family. And I remember him always because he played with my brother Timmy, and just had a great attitude. And he loves Anderson High School too, because he always checks up on us. Yeah,
and the other thing, Jake was a state champ in the pole vault too. I mean, I think he's still got the record. I think it's 15 feet or a little over 15 feet. I mean, so that's another thing about him. It shows his athleticism. He was, like I said, we had a run there of guys and at the running back position, and Jake was just in the cog there of all those guys that were running the football for us, and just tremendous balance and speed and toughness, and that's what you need.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I want to thank all the people, John Raymond, obviously, for helping us out every week. Greg finally came back. Did a game last week. It was great to be back with him again. Yeah, so it was nice to see him. Denise White always helps out. Kevin Crago, Don Marcello, always helping us out. We appreciate it. And again, this is year number 25, which is just absolutely incredible. And I just actually found the videotape from our first ever broadcast, which was the Anderson Turpin game here with Lou Andreatis and Dennis Rushi.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was good to see that. It was really weird seeing just the way people dressed, and it's just it was just neat to see all that stuff. But it was a great crowd, and just hearing Greg's and Brad's voice was just absolutely hilarious, because it was kind of weak, but it wasn't. Got it kind of weird, but again, all these games will be on. We'll have a Redskin review on USBN Sports, and just again, thanks to everybody for doing that. Again, we'll be on this week on USBN Sports, and we'll also have it on Anderson Community Television. So good luck this week, and hopefully we get that W.
Yeah, hope so.
So for John Raymond, Dan Albers, and Coach Geesting, you've been watching Redskin Review on USBN Sports and Anderson Community Television. We'll see you next week.
What you want?